as opposed to the cold snow outside. The air in the car smells bad. Gradually warming up by the passionate female kiss of Save the Movement for Mina. Save the Wind gently take Mina's chin. Pull close to you. Mina leaned forward to receive the sweet kiss. The air is filled with pink. Two people attached to each other raw. She looked at Mina and was a little embarrassed. We haven't been alone in a long time. Mina, her cheeks still flushed, said yes. The driver looked outside and said, I've been busy sowing spring crops lately. I have time to leave the city today. See the situation of the goblins. I don't know how they trained. Mina followed the boss. I've also been working lately. Collect 10 intelligence from the Department of Safety. I don't pay much attention to the situation here. Handsome black guard. I can see the wind is looking outside. The letter became uncle. In front is the mountain, where a squad of goblin raiders is stationed. That's why I ordered you to come inside. All the guards obey. Clear. It's still winter. The weather is very harsh on the mountain. The cold wind blows in the training grounds of goblins. A woman in a blue cloak is serious. Command the soldiers who are training below. Let's fire a little faster. The speed of the wind is too slow. At least one breath. I had to sell a new arrow. Immediately below the brass chants clear. That's Izina directing the training. Just finished the chariot. It is the desire to attract your attention. I saw the owner's car coming. The girl leader said in surprise. The owner came to supervise. Everybody in line, shut up. Math goblins are practicing. Immediately line up into rows immediately. Get out of the car towards the leader. Wai Jin too looked at him and said hello. To become a master. He looked at everyone and asked Igina. You normally train goblins like that? Isina replied. That's right. The ability to shoot accurate arrows of goblins is very high. Next, just increase the shooting speed. The attack power will be greatly increased. If you see that, ask again. Have you ever participated in training? Mobile attack target and mobile arrow shooting yet? And also the training. Practice shooting at the farthest distance. Listen to the strange things the wind just said. Isina very difficult to understand. Ask again. To become a master. What is it? I don't know if Isina knows. With a deep frown and I'll tell you later. Where's the camouflage training? Isina fun responsive. At the request of the owner. It's all done. The goblins hide very well. It's hard to find even next door. Igina is so confident. I want to check the direction. How confident are you? I want to test it. The location is the dry forest outside the ravine. Give you 20 minutes. Isina kept her confident answer. It doesn't matter. Let me tell them to prepare. Save the comma. Say it. Mina is now watching. The arrows hit the target on the practice spear. Tell the owner the arrow hit the red heart. They are not ashamed. Elves are the best at using bows and arrows. He just quietly shook his head. They're just shooting dead. They're far behind. In your head aesthetic. I hope the camouflage training will surprise me. Now in the dry forest outside the ravine. The graceful footsteps of the Fong. Went to check. Watching the snow covered with dry leaves, not fake in front of you. Go away, you are exposed. There's so much snow on the ground, there's dry leaves. This is not about telling others. What's unusual about Sao? The snow moved. The goblin stood up and said, Lord. Save feng shui, but only spears. Hiding in the snow, you can use dry branches to cover it up. Breathing through the cracks of the snow. Just dry branches a little bigger than the opening. Okay? The goblin obeyed for an hour. Soon enough, the fangs have found it. Goblins in camouflage in the dry forest. Look at the snow in front of you. Sao Feng sighed sadly. And you too. The snow cover is too thin. You can see the contours of people. Especially if your ass is too big to see. He shook his head in dismay. It's awkward to disguise like that. Hunters or riders with a bit of experience will see right away. Mina looked at the wind with admiring eyes. The tiger is the owner. Go around and find out. Clumsy camouflage goblins in the snow. Some people even have hair coming out like that. My husband continues to be depressed. Go away, your hair is out. If you hide, you have to cover your hair. Especially in a place where it's all snowy. Liu Feng continued, it's as natural as the stone. She went to make a dry tree to cover. Don't tell others. Someone is hiding here. I looked up at the tree and continued. You come down here and hide in the trees. Remember to wipe the snow off the tree. Mina saw that the goblins had been found. The owner now has only Igina. Gather everyone together. Save the lecture. About other environments like mountains. The forest, the city, the town is almost the same. Not through is to make your hiding place look ingenious. Along with hiding yourself is to hide these traces. Izina and the goblins, to listen to useful knowledge in a genuine way. Ask me anything else I don't understand. I'm crying in my heart. Thanks for all the movies, documents they've seen before. If not now, they have something to teach them. The people who listened attentively were now open-minded. I understand you all. Izina glad to say. I understand. Camouflage training isn't just about disguising yourself, but also to disguise the traces of camouflage. That's natural. It won't make it easy for others to find out. I can see that everyone understands and catch what I'm saying. Direct everyone. If you understand, continue training until you can shoot the enemy while in disguise without the enemy finding you. That's considered success. Izina is also a self-deprecating goblin. The goblins began to discuss tactics. We have to think about the wind direction in the environment. The hair has to be tied up to avoid being exposed. I'll do it again. Watch it for me. By the way, the black guard told the Feng Shui. Master is also late. Are you ready to return to the city? Liu Feng Tong, not in a hurry. It's hard to get out on a trip. That's right. I remember that the military is not far from here. Right, the guard said yes. No way to get from here to there. How long to put your hands on your chin to think? It's almost spring. The 5th call is almost done. You can start preparing. But before that, I still have to go to the military. The soldiers are relatively stable. Not think so. He turned around and told the toilet. Down command. In the evening, we will go to the observation business. Please obey orders immediately. The sky has turned to evening. The weather is getting colder. Outside the Atlantic City, the guards are returning with their weapons. The people who were entering the barracks shouted. You can't stay still. Who are you? From where to? Save the wind to introduce Theo. Don't panic. I'm an adventurer. The soldiers suddenly discovered that it was Liu Feng's group. He said, you are the owner. Everybody in line right away. He bowed his head and saluted the Lord. Look at the soldiers in front of you. Liu Feng said, 5 people, a squad working closely together. Even if you encounter something, others may have a chance to report the news. Very good. The location of the guards is very reasonable. You guys do your job without notice. I'm going to see Sao. The guard received the order clearly. In the silent barracks. 01 sound of wind. Let's go, Mina. Remember the time. Mina hold the stopwatch and say, yes, boss. Here's your shirt. Receive the command. The shovel handle begins to generate a pit alarm. None. Loud shovel binding hands tearing through the quiet night. The commander is sleeping in his room. I woke up in a panic. What are you talking about? The sound of the scene keeps on screaming. He just ran out of the room, wearing armor ready to fight. Out to the yard. I saw the crowd of people knocking, and Ra suddenly shouted. To become a master. Mina press stopwatch on hand. Tell the wind. Master 2 minutes. I was pleased to see the commander say yes. Stand aside and wait first. The commander obeyed and shouted. Behind from the rooms. The soldiers began to gather outside the yard. Under the moon's glow, the wind blew softly. The soldiers are fully assembled, but the army is not organized. In the middle of the soldiers' feet, shoes, sandals, women's buns. In particular, there was a soldier with no shirt on. There is only a wife and a leather bra. Close-up pink hair-piercing ears. Seductive plump thick lips. Made the boys next to him look embarrassed. The scene just ended. He looked at the soldiers gathered in front of him and said, I'm here today to mess with everyone. Soldiers of my Atlantic City. Even at any time, you must also be in a protective position. Don't relax for half a minute. Take a quick look around. Stopped at the frightened blonde sergeant, who bowed her face and asked, Not your weapon. He wanted to be killed immediately on the battlefield. Or SAO. Then he looked at the unarmored soldier. Scare and you shoulder to shoulder. You're tired of going to the battlefield without armor. And then he yelled angrily at the whole army. AIs that don't wear full body armor. Get out of line. I hope this is the last time. Now listen to my heavy load. Run back to the commune. Start running. The whole army obeyed, all in pairs carrying heavy wood on their shoulders. Running around the barracks 1 by 1, 2 by 1. Stand in the room with the commander. Look at the soldiers running outside. Think their discipline is too poor. Such troops, whether more folding, 10 times is a weak army. There is no fighting power. Fong continued with the commander. I know many of them are soldiers because of security. If there is no faith in the heart, when you meet a strong enemy, it is very likely that they will surrender immediately. Seriously speaking, soldiers like that it's no different. The commander of the army immediately apologized. To become a master, it's my fault. Save wind against chin thinking, said, it's not you at all. It's also because I didn't think about this before. Their health is up to standard. What's missing now is a solid faith. Willing to sacrifice to protect the Atlantic. Close your eyes and repeat 2 words in your head. Faith is there. In the camp office, Liu Feng told Mina. Mina, can you help me with this? What is Mina doing, boss? It's morning. With Mina and the townspeople standing on the high, looking down at the troops that had assembled shortly. Save Feng solemnly look. All the soldiers are timidly bowing their heads. Yesterday's rally made me 7. Now it makes me 7. My soldiers, not even the courage to look at me. Why are people so cowardly? Not even the elementary school kids. I looked at the soldiers who are still silent. Liu Feng spoke loudly. People are so angry that they feel humiliated. I feed people well every day. This whole Atlantic City, no one has as good food as everyone else. People are so grateful to the Atlantic. The speed at which people wear armor is faster. The speed at which people compete for food. The armor that people don't even wear right away. You go to the battlefield and lose face. Looking for death. Look at the soldiers clenching their hands into fists. The more aggressive you are, the more you lose face. People won't know how to lose face, because there were no more lives. People who lose face are people's relatives. They are everyone's parents. They are everyone's children. Others will say, "You're a bunch of junkies. Go to the battlefield to stab yourself to death. Even SAO is a soldier. I can't even wear armor." It's not junk. What is it? People say, "Tell me if you guys are scum soldiers." The soldiers heard Liu Feng say these hard words. Now the fire of anger begins to burn. Hold your head up high. Not. The high voice continued. Is it a mess or not? You can't just scream. Just with everyone's expression yesterday. Anyone who sees, you'll also think people are scum soldiers. Not a strong soldier. We can protect the Atlantic. Protection for relatives. Protection for everyone's daughters. Now people say, "Tell me." People want to be a strong soldier. Family standing guard. To protect the Atlantic. Or soldiers waiting to die. All the soldiers below shouted out loud. To be pleased to say, the strong soldiers in my heart are disciplined. Have the courage to fight without fear of death. How long can the enemy persist? Our troops must be more persistent than they are. 1 hour, 2 hours. Even if the team has fallen. It's all alone. He still dared to pick up the sword and go up. Death is not scary. Heroes die. I'll be responsible for that person. The soldiers were in spirit. Keep the momentum going, starting today. It's just soldiers dying for the Atlantic. Then everyone's parents will be raised by me. Your children will be raised by me. I'll build tombstones for everyone. Bring everyone's relatives, seeing the glory of everyone. The whole army heard the owner say that. Strongly speaking, I swear to die for the West. All the soldiers raised their hands to show their determination. Collect wine at the same time. I swear to die for the West. I swear to die for the West. Save Feng Yang Kao. The flag was about to see the soldiers talk about later. This will be the battle of the army of the Atlantic. It's for me, it's for everyone. It's more about representing the Atlantic. The flag is a strong, majestic dragon. Fluttering in the wind. Under the sun, more and more majestic. Strong wind with a sword to cut the palm of the hand. Fresh blood immediately fell in front of the jewel's eyes. Everyone's surprise. To take small fresh blood on the battlefield. As the owner. I will bleed to protect you. To protect the people of the Atlantic. All the soldiers are surprised. The commander of the New Dai Corps also used Gao Dao. Cut the blood. I swear I'll risk my life to defend the Atlantic City with Master Bon. All the soldiers below are brave. Cutting knife hand. We also swore we would risk our lives to defend the Atlantic City with Master Bon. All the blood on the red carnation. Show your determination to the end. Glad to see everyone below. He said he had planted faith. Protect your family and the Atlantic for soldiers. Then next, there's just a lack of willpower. And rich in sacrifice to do it. The horse is ready for the next wave. The commander immediately raised his hand to receive the order. On the streets of Atlantic City. In a wide space. A lot of curious people are gathered in one place. Look at the people who were arrested by the police. 2 men were kneeling on the ground. The other one is running away. The animal girl of the Taurus tribe rushed too. Shout loud and don't move. Now I'm arresting you on felony charges. Order in the city. Follow the criminal who is trying to escape. He looked back at her and said I wasn't disorderly. I want to reach out and grab him. If you have anything to say, go to the station. The criminal glanced furiously. Take the knife out of your pocket. Speaking out loud, I'm not disorderly. He threw a guillotine at his lower hand. You can't get a knife through your arm. The sharp knife tore his shirt. Keep bleeding your hands, to reveal the trigonometric sign on the lower arm. The police also came to arrest him. The criminal, I just saw the trigonometry on your arm. Shout you are a slave. She's got a slave sign in her hand. A slave like you has no right to arrest me. I just kept the wound from losing blood. Just yelled at him. I'm the captain of the patrol police, appointed by the master. I was no longer a slave, but a free man. People started talking about it. The criminal Kier has just been escorted away. Still not subdued. It still speaks like a bitter word. Slavery is forever. A slave with a mark is a slave. I'm a commoner. You have no right to arrest me. The people whispered below. She to TI is slave, then the armband is to cover the sign. The owner once said, just slaves trying to work. You can also be free. But unless you cut that sign with a knife, or it'll be there forever. To put those words out of my ear. Strongly speaking, the Lord told me to protect the Atlantic. If you do something bad, I have the right to arrest you. There's a bad guy down there saying, you listen to the owner like that. The owner must be your boss. The bottom immediately itches out, then punch him in the air with anger. Blackface says I won't allow you to say that. Look at your actions. The black people down there are so suspicious of you. I didn't even see who she worked for. Even if you are a slave, you are stronger than the black people. We. The policeman told the emperor. God, cover it up. If you don't see it, no one will. The bottom is somewhat sad. Take your hand and cover the sign on your hand. That night in my head, I kept saying the word slave. The insult of the criminal, and the chatter of the black crowd echoes. Slave, slave, she is slave. As long as there's a sign, you're a slave. The slaves should have been subservient. To scream not, I'm not a slave. Suddenly beside her came the voice of the policeman. Lamb partners with slaves. It's very embarrassing. His eyes glistening with water, shaking his head in fear. No, I'm not a slave. Her tears immediately flowed out. Look around for an AI that's empathetic. Suddenly in front of you, the owner appears. Master Liu Feng with a cold voice. Lifeless eyes. You're a slave to fear screaming, I'm not. I woke up from the nightmare. Tired brunette breathing box in bed. She hugged her knees with sobbing face. Reassure yourself. No, I'm sure the owner wouldn't say that. The next morning at breakfast. Echoed Ellie's stinging anger. Put the devil in your hand. Mina is also angry. Shout back. The picture belongs to that person. To sit and think. Ate full rice without moving chopsticks normally. It's not that she's the most gluttonous. When I saw that, I asked the emperor why. Liu Feng's question caught everyone's attention. I was startled when I woke up. Well, I don't know. People see the strange behavior of the emperor, worried about visiting. Are you sick? How wrong you look. Not even rice. Do not let DT immediately stand up and speak. Let me check it out. Move forward in front of the emperor. Touch your forehead and check your body temperature. I was surprised by Liu Feng's sudden action. Make it shy, smoking head. My hands covered my stomach with red face. I don't really know. He looked at the actions of the emperor and realized that it was not possible. He turned to Mina. Mina asked Daddy, "Did she get her period? If you have to, cook her some red sugar water." Mina was also surprised to see the subtle master come to this, and also answer. Raw is that. Tay pinching love into Tai Mina is shy to say. This is normal. You don't have to be shy. Mina timidly leaned her head against the bandit's chest. Softly answer a yes. They've been serving dog food for a while. Back to the table. Liu Feng told the emperor, "If you're not feeling well today, you don't need to go to the police station. Go home and rest after breakfast." The nun is right to hear that. Don't be reluctant to rest yourself. To hear that also obey. After dinner, go back to the break room. As I lay in bed, I thought, the owner cares so much about me. I told Mina to take care of me. The owner always hoped that slaves can return as free people thanks to the labor newspaper. Unless you're on a street patrol, I can't do anything. Did I have anything to do with the owner? I live in the city. Maybe others will say the owner is a slave owner. I can't bring trouble to the owner. Talking about it while quietly shedding tears. Appear stupid thoughts. Without me, everyone would be better off, right? It's raining at night outside the Atlantic City. In the Forbidden Mountains, the sound of a crowd of people. One of them spoke up. The leader performed the play in front of the animal. The name is Emperor as planned. The man who was arrested did his best to leave no trace. Then Ra is a group of people from the Black Yarrow organization. The leader sat on the cold snow. I've read some recent propaganda. Now slaves and commoners of the Atlantic City. There was a feud with each other. Believe that it won't be long. The Atlantic will be in chaos. White-haired girl wearing orange gown. Sitting on the wooden trunk talking. How long has the butler chained you to Atlantic City? The butler replied, It's been a few days. The one who asked just now was the leader of the Black Dragon. She asked again, What is your impression of this city? The butler replied, Yes, the Atlantic City is very interesting. She laughed coldly, the evil mystery said. It's interesting why you go back and do it as planned. If the emperor doesn't leave the Atlantic City. 3 days later, he killed some people. The price of conflict between slaves and civilians. The Cypriot butler immediately obeyed and left. The black leader pierced the bow. Green speedster next to ask. Little Kim mission in the Russian capital. 7 failure is due to shelter. The Atlantic suddenly appeared. The blue-haired girl next to him hurriedly replied, Yes. The evil-faced leader half laughed and said, That's interesting. And she stood up and looked at the Atlantic City and said, I am sorry for such a beautiful place. It can't last long. Dismissed people, Chief. Give orders to Kim's men. Let's go back to the base. Needle obey, orders follow. A leader stepped on a 4-person carrier. Next to you is Kim. Return to base 2. Side of the road. The subordinates stood in a short line holding torches to light. Kimo went and confidently thought. The leader's plan was never wrong. Igina, we'll see you soon. The Atlantic at the pizza place. She said, Give me 30 pizzas. Don't give me 50 more meat pizzas. The waiter happily took a pen and wrote down the menu. I can't believe I ordered so much pizza. Are you planning a party? 50 is a lot. You'll have to wait a while. I was in a hurry to say no. Go for a walk and come back later. I turned around and sighed sadly. Maybe they won't eat anymore. How much or as much to buy? If you can't eat it, try it as a souvenir. Maybe you can't eat it all. Next, you need to buy a seat and talk. Suddenly to TVA into a blonde. The sound of bop. It's like an instinct. The ghost pulls the sleeve down to cover the tattoo. My whole body trembled with fear, my face darkened. Blonde just crashed in. When I saw that, I panicked and asked Han. I'm sorry. I hit you. You didn't say anything. I crouched under my face with a cold voice. It's because I don't see the road. I said, take a quick walk out of the bar. I was out in the pizza place. The man sitting in the corner. I saw all the scenes just now. He put his hands together, and he was smiling. This smile is full of bad intentions. It's like preparing some dirty plan. In a rented house in the Atlantic City, the guards knocked on the door of a room with the sound of a glass. Guard cup from outside the door. Loud announcement. Open the door for inspection as usual. A fat man pushing the door out. He was surprised to say, Hiro is the captain of the patrol. Too hard for you. The guard replied. The cold winter is dry. You have to light a fire every day to keep warm. But firewood is dangerous, especially where there are a lot of people, like houses for rent. Easy to accident. So become the owner. He asked us to go to work in the afternoon. For explosion prevention safety inspection. I hope you understand. He still has a smiling face. It's like nothing happened. Say no, SAO. Why is everyone struggling? The buffalo horn guard remembered something. Asked me to remember that my cousin was a cloth merchant. Your memory is so good, he replied. The guard asked more. I remember you had some followers. There's no AI here. He heard that and he was startled. But the outside calmly answered. We're all out to see the Atlantic City. There's so much good food, so much fun. Why stay in the room? The guard heard that and blamed him. It's been coming for days and it hasn't been. How to visit? He justified it. Atlantic City has many new pleasures SAO that have been. I checked, the guard said. Very tidy and tidy room. There's no hidden risk. I'm on another patrol, so be careful. He sighed and thanked the master for the compliment. The guards just left. He's sweating like a burden. He lamented. The patrolman in this city. You're working too hard. I thought it was exposed. But look out to the Atlantic. We don't know anything about our actions. Suddenly, someone appeared in the room. He told him. Why? The person who shows up is the person sitting in the pizza shop. He announced the process of tracking the surface. He said he was shopping in large quantities. I must be leaving soon. The fat man nodded in agreement. The leader's plan worked very well. Let the people prepare. Tonight ambush attack outside the city. The man shouted and turned and left. The police after patrolling. Go back and notify the owner. Results obtained today. To become a master. Of course, the merchant had to be chained. That's a problem. It's been 8 days in Atlantic City. Except for a trip to the big market at first. The rest of the time is spent watching theater. Free time to go for a walk. It's not like we're doing anything. Moreover, such a person is not only him. There are still a few more. It's been investigated by us. Ellie must have told me it was them. Intentional provocation between slaves and civilians in the city. Spreading rumors. It's not good for people's relationships and harmony. Mina added more. Spreading rumors is the specialty of the Dark Knight. I rest. They're the people of the dark yarns. But what's their purpose? Revenge for the goblin thing next time. Liu Feng said, their purpose is slavery, the beast in the Atlantic. In front of my eyes, the structure of people in the Atlantic divided into aristocrats, traders, civilians and free slaves transformed into, in which the number of civilians and slaves is greatest. If the two sides are in conflict, order in the city will be disturbed. The Atlantic is in chaos. The Black Widow could take that opportunity. Slaves the animals in the city. But now in the Atlantic City, whether free or ordinary people, life is warm and it is happy. Maybe they won't because of some conflict, and the rumors don't know where. It's self-disorder. They are very confident in being the owner. The Dark Knight's plan will not succeed. The wind doesn't think so. That's what it looks like on the outside, as those rumors will deliver their insecurities. Just have the right thing happen. For example, find a slave, but the Atlantic also knows, to corroborate those rumors. When you hear this, everyone is screaming. Mina realized what was wrong. Whatever her mood has been these days. Maybe it's because of this. I told Mina in a hurry. Mina, go see where the body is. Call her. Mina said yes and ran to the front room. The guards don't understand what happened. I asked her what she was doing. Sei Feng explained, I've been in a very hot mood these days. Maybe the weak on the street was stigmatized. Slavegi status. I'm the captain of the patrol. We walk the streets every day. Everyone who knows her likes her too. If even the captain of the patrol is discriminated against, then surely the slaves will be insecure. The guard listened to the explanation. I opened my eyes in amazement and understood. Incendiary words are dynamite, and the bottom is the detonator. Mina's face panicked and ran in from the outside. Shout to the boss. Let me pack my things. Looks like I don't want to say goodbye. What was Ellie afraid of? If the emperor leaves, surely the slaves would say, is that we don't tolerate slavery. Get rid of it. To leave will make slaves more insecure in the Atlantic. The Dark Arrow's plot is about to succeed. Mina hurriedly told Liu Feng to chase her. Calm down and ask Mina to wait. Everyone in the room stood there and didn't understand. The wind is full of confusion. I look at everyone's faces and ask questions. Liu Feng said don't chase her, just let her go. But outside the Atlantic City, I jumped down from the top. Stand up and carry your luggage on your shoulders. That sadness silently. Goodbye, everyone. The boss said goodbye to everyone. Thank you for your interest. Take care of people over time. Someday, I'll remember everyone. I'm still standing, and I don't know where to go. Two people appear in front of you. The two men in brown robes stood up in a scathing voice. I was surprised by the appearance of two people. Curious who you are. The whole world is afraid to step back. I don't know what's going on. One of the men with the sword came out. Aggressive about who I am. Don't need you to know. You just need to make it. Someone else says to the back, come on. She's all alone, quick win. I'm scared of all the hard people behind me. I saw them coming. To scold the damned and draw the sword from behind Ra. Someone was screaming from behind. The Lord and I suddenly turned around. There are two men on the ground who are unconscious. Stand on the body. There a man in a red cloak with a sword. There was blood on the sword. It's Avenji, Her face is cold. The atmosphere is majestic. Serve orders to become the master of exile.